Okay, right where we left you. So it looks like they have some scaffolding set up. Just 4 more to go, 5 more.
Yeah, just a few more.
Typically the case in Greece, it's very windy. It's probably about 20 knots.
We're gonna have to back straight out to the left of those orange buoys because on either side is too shallow.
When all the crows decide to meet.
Hi, I'm Karen, and my husband is Tom. Welcome to Life 4.0, where we share the experiences of living aboard Leros, our 44-foot sailboat, while we travel together to new and exciting destinations. What's with the name Life 4.0, you ask? Well, we both enjoyed careers in the software industry, so thinking about life in iterations or phases, versions if you will, came natural to us.
Karen's going out to swim on the anchor.
Our Life 1.0 represents our young lives before we met. In Life 2.0, we met and quickly realized we shared a passion for outdoor explorations. This version takes us through dating, including our first experience sailing together, and onto our eventual marriage. During Life 3.0, we had, raised, and launched our 2 children. This includes a period of about 14 months when we lived aboard Thalia, our previous sailboat, while we explored the eastern seaboard of the U.S. and the Caribbean islands, while also homeschooling.
We are anchored in Castos.
Life 4.0 finds us taking an early retirement so we can travel and explore while we have the health and energy to do this in the way that we want. We spend about half of each year on board our sailboat and the rest enjoying land-based living and exploration with a home base in the northeast of the United States. We hope you enjoy our Life 4.0 as you think about shaping your own. There's only one go at this thing called life. Make the most of it. Summer 2020. Well, that will be one for the record books, huh? Like everyone else on this crazy spinning globe, our 2020 plans were disrupted. We had originally planned a return in May to Leros' winter home on the island of Leros in the Aegean Sea, the very easternmost part of Greece. But as time came and went, and we monitored travel restrictions and COVID case surges throughout Europe, we adjusted and then readjusted our plans. It wouldn't be until July 9th, and the involvement of planes, ferries, and automobiles, plus a huge amount of luck, that we would see our girl again. To learn more about our adventures just getting to Leros, visit our blog at LifeFourPointZero.com to read all the nutty details. We'll pick up here after we arrived on the Greek island of Kos. Okay, we're on the last leg of our journey. We're on the ferry. We just left Kos and we're going, this is the island of Samos. Yeah, we're going to be going by the teeny little island of Plati to Kalymnos and then Leros. Yeah, so we are definitely flopping back rolling. And forth. Yeah. So we are pretty psyched to get here.
We are. It's been a long journey.
Yes.
A lot of chances where we might have been turned away.
Yeah, but we had a great night last night on the waterfront in Kos, and good night's sleep. We walked around a little bit this morning, carried our way too many bags onto the ferry, and now we're getting ready for our last stop. We marvel at the significant inter-island commerce that takes place in the very few minutes a ferry is tied to each island's docks. As we soak in the sights and sounds, we talk through our plan for the remainder of the day. We will be staying at an Airbnb for a couple of nights as we make the boat livable again. So, since most of our luggage is boat stuff, we will first head to Artemis Boatyard and to Leros, and then take only what we need for the night to the apartment. Okay, right where we left you. So it looks like they have some scaffolding set up to buffer. We asked if they could, we had never seen the cover. So we asked if they could leave the cover on so we could see what it's like. So we're just checking her out. We missed you. Yep, here's the girl. right.
Anchor, everything.
Yeah, the cover looks great. They made these covers for the portholes to reach down, so that's really neat. Oh, wow, the cover just fits great on the swim platform. So we can probably just loosen that and drop it, and then we can get on. We figured out how to open the swim platform. That was a little bit of a problem to figure out which breakers were off.
Which switches control what? It's been a little while.
Yeah, so we got our ladder up. Now we're gonna start loading things on.
Yep, lots of stuff.
Okay, there's all of our stuff that came all the way from Boston. We have 2 of these huge gray bags that we each put on our back going on and off the ferry. And then 2 green rolly bags, smaller rolly bags, the blue and the brown, and then 2 backpacks. Okay, just 4 more to go, 5 more.
Yeah, just a few more.
All right, I will start taking them downstairs. When we left in the fall, we wanted to remind ourselves not to use any water, not to turn anything on. We left all of our refrigerators open so that nothing would get moldy. We took all of our bedding off, opened up other cabinets so things could get air. We got some new halyards that we're going to be putting up, so we got those out. And look at our pile of
shit.
Pile of shit. Oh my god, all of our stuff. A lot of bedding, all of our bags that we need to go through, lots of project stuff that we have. All right, we are going to have somebody go up our mast and put a halyard up there. So they have this crane in place. That way they can just take them up quickly, right up to the top of the mast. And then we have 2 halyards that we're gonna put up there. One for our code 0 that we had to cut last time, and then another spare halyard. So this guy's raising this thing way up. This was Saturday afternoon and our first attempt to feed the guideline down through the mast so that we could pull up our 2 new halyards. We are scheduled to launch on Monday morning, and we really need these 2 additional full-height halyards for our upcoming sailing season. Georgios, one of the yard owners, was at the top of the mast with a 10-inch segment of bicycle chain, if you can believe it, tied to a thick fishing line. The idea is that the chain has enough weight and flexibility to wiggle down and around random things on the inside of the mast to eventually make it to the exit near the bottom, where you can see Tom fishing around for it. Tom never saw the chain or line pass, and we couldn't hear it inside the mast. Georgios pulled and shook the line with the chain to keep it moving. Unfortunately, the line eventually got stuck, not coming back up nor going further down. He tried everything to free it, but eventually came back down to the deck to discuss options with us and his partner. At one point, the partner gave the fishing line a hard tug, and we heard what we thought was something falling through a portion of the mast. The fishing line had snapped. Terrific, we thought. Now we have this length of bicycle chain plus some unknown amount of fishing line inside our mast. These could easily cause problems anytime we tried to raise or lower a sail or use a halyard for any other purpose. Ugh. The wind had also picked up, so we had to quit for the day. We all agreed to think through our options and come back the following day. Tom and I were thinking that the mast might need to be unstepped, which is a huge job that would surely delay our launch. Plus, we really needed these halyards. In the morning, Georgios wanted to go to the top of the mast to look at a couple of things. He found the end of the snapped fishing line and gave it a gentle tug. To his surprise, it was moving freely and seemed to have the weight of the chain attached. Soon enough, he had the bicycle chain in his hand, and he returned to the deck to talk to us. We were thrilled that we had gotten past the problem, and we quickly turned our focus back to getting our new halyards rigged. We noticed the chain was not all that flexible. Actually, it was a bit rusty. So while one of the yard staff went off to grease it well, we marked 5-foot lengths on a thin but sturdy cord that we would use instead of the fishing line. These measurements would allow us to know how far down the mast we were getting with our next attempts of feeding the guideline. We were really nervous when Giorgio slid the newly greased chain down into the top of the mast, but as he called out the feet, 5, 10, 15, etc., we realized we were making great progress. Finally, we saw the chain come into view in the lower exit of the mast. We removed the chain from the cord, secured the end of the halyard to this guideline, and Giorgio's pulled up the first halyard. Success! We were over the moon. The second halyard went smoothly as well. We may still be on schedule for a Monday launch. So we've started to put things away and recapture our space. We have a lot of projects still going on. Here's our bins with all of our tools and parts and ropes and everything. Lots of stuff. Tom's working on something for the autopilot. I've started to put a little bit more of provisioning in the boat. We've got drinks in our drink fridge, starting to get food into our main fridge down here. This is an area that we mostly have snacks and kinds of different things to cook with, coffee, cereals, etc. Let's see, we've closed up the water tanks so that when we start making water, they'll all be ready to receive the fresh new water. The water here is not really drinkable, so we haven't yet filled our tanks. So this is where Tom's working on the autopilot down there. These are our bins of every kind of line you can imagine, and this is not all of them. Believe it or not, with all the different stern lines and anchor lines and halyards and yada yada yada, we just have piles of them. So what else have we done? We've put up our Dodger and our Bimini, and we've washed all of our cockpit, and we waterproofed some of our cushions. On the Bimini, to get the Bimini up, that was a trick. It always is, because it has these solar panels. So you can see there's 3 on this side and 3 on this side. Last fall, we took out this red line here, which is our main sheet. We took it out because the previous year we had chafing from the wind knocking the boom back and forth, and it ended up ripping our main sheet, which you don't want to have happen. So main sheet's all done. We don't have our sails on. They don't allow us to put our sails on while we're on jack stands. And given that it's about 25-30 knots today, we wouldn't want to put our sails up anyway. So this is our new halyard. This is just sort of an all-purpose halyard that we ran up yesterday. And this is the halyard for our code 0. It's a 3-to-1 ratio, so it's a whole lot easier to pull it up in theory. So that's great. We ran our jack lines out here, got those tied on. I brought the anchor up. All the chain was down. As you can see, like on that boat over there, there's pallets all the way down through there of people that you drop your chain for the winter, and it keeps your chain from getting less rusty in your anchor locker, and it also allows your anchor locker to dry out. So I brought all of our anchor line up, put out some of our fenders because we're going in the water tomorrow. Okay, so our bed is made, and now I'm just starting to go through extra towels, extra sheets, make sure I know what's where, because we have our queen size bed. This is sort of the width of a double, but the length is much longer, so I actually made sheets for that bed. This bed back in here, back in this room, is a king. It goes way back in here, and that's because we've got the model where this room is a workshop. And in here we have this twin bed tucked on the wall that if we have a single person staying with us, we can tuck them in there with, on the right, we usually have a pile of stuff. Ah, time to relax and celebrate the successful end of a pile of boat projects and our pending launch. This is the view from our apartment.
All right, big day today. This is Monday when we had originally planned to launch the boat, but it's the start of a new chapter, switching gears from going to boatyard life and working in a dusty boatyard to being on the water. Still doing work on the boat, I'm sure, but it'll be a little nicer to be on the water and to start sailing. All right, they came over quicker than we thought, getting ready to load the boat on the trailer. Again, it's a little windy out there. They're hoping to find a little calmer spell to launch us, or we may just go when we can go. It's been a long journey to get here. A lot of doubts in terms of whether we'd be actually able to sail this summer. Certainly a lot of our sailing colleagues had to bail on the season, but didn't seem like we were going to be able to make it. And then we made it here, and we got the boat ready, and we're launching. So very, very cool. We get a shorter season this summer, but it'll be a lot of fun. Just a little nervous here. We got like, I don't know, probably 20 knots of wind blowing us into the ramp here. And we're gonna have to back straight out to the left of those orange buoys, because on either side is too shallow. So it's a little exciting. Somehow we're gonna pick up our dinghy over here too before we head out of here. We originally were gonna stay on the mooring balls over there, but it looks like it's a little too rough. We may go somewhere else until it calms down tonight.
All right, although we are only about a mile or maybe, yeah, about a mile, maybe a mile and a half from where we launched, we feel like we're in the middle of nowhere, which is just perfect.
Except for a nice little restaurant.
Yeah.
Solar-powered.
Yeah, solar-powered restaurant. It's very colorful.
Yep. Lots of purple.
Lots of purple.
And two things on the menu.
Yeah, there's goat, moussaka, and a couple appetizers. And that's it. And it's just fun. The owners and staff at Artemis Boatyard were terrific. They stuck by the price that they had quoted us to rig the 2 halyards, even though the job took much longer than imagined. They treated our boat like it was their own, and their entire staff was kind and helpful. If you're ever needing a boatyard in the eastern Aegean, you should consider Artemis Boatyard on the northern end of Leros Island.
We're doing a little hiking on the island of Archangelos, which is just north of the Artemis Boatyard where we launched 2 days ago. So nice evening walk, very peaceful, very quiet, really beautiful here. Nice views, good time of the day, about an hour before sunset. Getting a little exercise after being on the boat for the last couple of days. Get a good view of the fish farms around here off of Leros. Very typical kind of setup here with these circular cages and lots of buoys marking off the area. So in the harbor here in Archangelos, you get these like sudden gusts of wind. It can be very mild, and all of a sudden it'll be like blowing 25 knots. And you can kind of see sometimes the water ripples kind of fanning out. You can kind of see it there, fanning out over the water. Sometimes it gets so windy that there's spray, salt spray that's being blown across the top of the water. Italian boats, a Belgian boat, Netherlands, and somebody from the United States of America. That's us right there. Fugitives from the United States. You can see all the wind gusts, lines of wind on the water. That one's blowing that way, this one's blowing this way. It's kind of swirling around. A bunch of wind going across our boat right now. Found this cool little ledge, this air pocket behind there, and the water comes in, it splashes out at you. It's always a good sign of a cavern.
And the yellow glorious will live. Won't you be my guide and let me fall?
If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notified about new videos.
All this time you waited for me. Little did we know, I guess it's fate. Now all is in our hands.
Join us next time as we sail northeast to the tiny and incredibly peaceful island of Agathenice, and then further northeast to the large and colorful island of Samos, a mere kilometer off of mainland Turkey. Thanks for watching.